What is going on YouTube? Taylor Dunn here with OACheddar.com, and in this video we are going to be talking about Buy Box Etiquette and how you can prevent the race to the bottom on Amazon. Now, what do I mean by race to the bottom? Simply what I mean is when you have an item that is selling for a consistent price on Amazon, and then all of a sudden you have a rise in competition and that price starts to slowly trickle down to a point where it's not even profitable anymore to sell. So what do I mean by that? Let me show you an example here on Keepa. You see you have an item in the last 3 months. It historically was selling around $60. And then all of a sudden you see this rise in competition and the price dramatically drops from $60 down to $49. And then it continues to keep going down in little or little trickles down to about 45. And I think right now it's currently around like 46, 47. When this happens, we call this price tanking. It means that somebody or some of your competition is driving the price down, and normally it's because they have their repricer set up in a way that is overly competitive, and they're essentially they're hurting the product and they don't even realize why and how that is happening. This video is going to answer that, and so that way you can do your part to not only protect your profits, but also protect the profits of other Amazon sellers and keep certain items selling for a profitable amount. In this video, around the end, I'm going to show you how we set up our repricer and give you some great tips on how to protect yourself against price tanking and protect others. So let's hop over to what Buy Box Etiquette is. So being the seller that wrecks products for other people, here's a couple of things that you're doing. You are driving the price down unnecessarily. You are creating unneeded competition, and you're making what was a good listing and now making it a bad listing because the selling price is just too low and it's not profitable anymore. Essentially, you're just driving the price down for not only yourself but everyone else. So why do people do this, you might ask? Well, number one, they don't understand how the buy box works, and they feel like I have to be the lowest price offer or else I'm never going to sell my product, and that's just not true. They don't understand how to set up their repricer. By repricer, there is softwares that will help manage your prices and does price changes for you automatically, so you don't have to manually monitor your products. And when you set those up, you're normally setting up with a certain strategy, and you're telling the repricer, this is what I want you to do when my competition is lower than me or maybe even priced above me. They focus too much on a single listing, which then results them to panic, and they feel like they have to keep lowering their price or else they're not going to sell their item. Simply put, they just lack the knowledge. They lack the knowledge on how the buy box works and how their repricer works and how they should be doing, setting up their repricer and managing their inventory. So with this video, guys, hopefully you're going to have a great understanding of how you should be setting up your inventory, not only to make yourself successful, but also to protect good profitable items on Amazon from their selling price dropping too much. So what is a buy box and how does it work? So right here in this little image, I have a snapshot of what a buy box is. The buy box is where customers can easily purchase the product. This is the advertised offer on the Amazon listing that is very easy to just hit add to cart or the buy now button and make the purchase. You want to be the offer in this buy box as much as possible because that will essentially give you the sale. If you have the sale in the buy box, your chances of selling your item are greatly increased. Amazon is advertising your offer in the buy box to the customer when this is happening. The big thing that people don't realize with buy boxes, especially newer sellers, is the buy box is shared with all sellers on that listing. It is not rewarded to you just because you have the lowest price. It literally is rotating through all the other offers and will change depending on where you're located, what time of the day. Amazon's always updating these buy boxes, so it's not like one seller is getting it just because they're priced lower than everybody else. So in a buy box, you will have the selling price. This is what the seller is offering to sell their product for. You also see who is selling the product, what the store name is, and how they are fulfilling it, whether it's through merchant fulfilled or if they're having it fulfilled by Amazon. So how do you win the buy box? Well, you don't just win the buy box by price. There is a multiple amount of factors that go into who might own the buy box more than others. And yes, it's not an evenly distributed rotation. Some people will own the buy box more often than others because of the 6 things I'm about to talk about. Number 1, and probably one of the most important things, is your fulfillment method. If you are a merchant fulfiller and your competition is a FBA seller, your odds are that FBA seller is going to have the buy box more often than you are as the merchant fulfill seller. This is because Amazon is fulfilling the product, so they know that they can get the item shipped out properly. Amazon is always going to favor the FBA offer over merchant fulfill because frankly, they make more money if the item sells and they're the ones fulfilling it. They're collecting those fulfillment fees, the prep and pack, everything that is needed. Plus, they're in control of customer service, which is a big thing for Amazon. Number 2 is going to be your price. Price is important, but price is not the end-all be-all when it comes to winning the buy box. Big thing when it comes to the price that you need to focus on is you just want to make sure that you're competitive. You don't need to be the lowest priced offer, but you definitely don't want to be the highest priced offer. So my recommendation is you want to be priced around the low FBA offers, and I would say focus on the FBA offers if you're an FBA seller over merchant fulfilled, because just the fact that you are an FBA seller, you're going to probably win that buy box more often than not. So you don't have to be the lowest price, but you also don't want to be priced higher than everybody else. The third thing is your seller rating. If you have a good seller rating and a good lifetime score when it comes to customer service, you're going to be rewarded the buy box over another seller who has a poor seller rating. So you want to make sure your seller rating is as close to perfect as possible. You want to make sure that your price is competitive, and you want to make sure that your fulfillment method is fulfilled by Amazon. If you focus on those 3 things, you will see an increase of buy box ownership. Some other factors to keep in mind as well when it comes to winning the buy box is your order defect rate. If you have a high order defect rate, basically what Amazon is seeing is that, hey, the products from this store are coming damaged, the boxes are scuffed up, their items aren't in perfectly brand new condition. So you want to make sure your order defect rate is as low as possible. This goes hand in hand with making sure that you're purchasing good products that are in new condition and not cutting corners when it comes to the quality of your merchandise. Number 5 is going to be your customer response time. You need to make sure that you are responding to buyer messages within that 24-hour window that Amazon wants. Amazon wants to see that you're able to communicate with your customers and provide excellent customer service. It is Amazon's number 1 priority to offer high customer service above everything else. Remember, Amazon wants it to take care of their customers. They don't care about you, the seller. They're focused on the customer, so you also need to be focused on the customer and make sure that you're answering those buyer messages in a timely manner. And then lastly, it's going to be inventory depth and availability. What I mean by this is, say I have a product that is in a California fulfillment center, but the customer who is looking at the item online lives in New York. Amazon is going to show them offers that are closer geographically to their location than mine that is all the way over in California. And this is simply because it's going to cost less money and it's going to be easier to ship the product to that customer. So sometimes you can have the right fulfillment method, be priced competitively, have an excellent seller rating, a super low defect rate, and your response time is on point, but simply your product is just too far away from that potential customer. So Amazon is going to put the offer that is closer to them in the buy box. If you focus on all 6 of these things, you will see an increase in buy box ownership. The first 3 are the most important by far. If you do all that, you guys are going to start winning the buy box more often than not. So, setting up your repricer. Whether you're using BeCool, Inform.co, Amazon's repricing tool, or really any other repricer under the sun, you want to make sure that you follow a few steps. You want to make sure that your minimum price is set to the absolute low that you are willing to sell that item for. In our own FBA store, our general rule of thumb with the vast majority of our products is we will set that minimum price up to where we're making about $1 to $1.50 in profit. That is the lowest that I'm willing to sell a product for. I will take a loss on an item if it has been sitting in my inventory for more than 3 months. Then I'll have to start dropping down the price to try to get that item to sell and match. But normally that's how I set up my minimum price with my repricer, is just about $1.50 of profit. You want to make sure that you're using a matching strategy. This is the biggest thing by far for all Amazon sellers to realize, is you don't have to be the lowest price. You just need to be competitive. So we find that the best solution to this is by setting up a matching strategy, which is about 99% of the items in our store is using a matching strategy. Why do we use a matching strategy? It's pretty simple. If you have me here and then you have my competition, and my competition is matching, but I have set my repricer up to beat the lowest offer by a penny, every time that I lower my price by a penny, their repricer is going to come down and match me. Then I'm going to lower to by a penny, and then they're going to come match me. And what's happening now is a tick for tack. I lower my price, they come down to meet me, and eventually it will stop when one of us hits our minimum price. So if both of us are using a matching strategy, the price doesn't move, it will stay the same. They say their strategy is to be priced 1 penny above the lowest offer. Well, then now actually I'm going to be matching up. And that's actually a tip that I would give to experienced sellers that I'll talk a little bit more about in a second. You want to match the lowest FBA price. If you're an FBA seller, compete with FBA. If you are a merchant fulfill seller, compete with merchant fulfill offers. They are two separate fulfillment methods for a reason. So if you're an FBA seller, don't worry about the merchant fulfill price. It normally won't affect you as much as the FBA price will. And established sellers can price their inventory a little bit higher than the lowest FBA and still be winning that buy box. Guys, remember in that last slide, the big things that we talk about is, what is your fulfillment method? Are you competitively priced? It doesn't mean that you have to be the lowest price offer. It just means that you have to be around the lowest price offer. And then also, what's your seller rating? What's your order defect rate? All those things come into play when it comes to buy box ownership, but you don't necessarily have to be the lowest price. The cool thing is say you set up your repricer to where you are 1 penny above the lowest FBA offer, and your competition has a matching strategy. So you raise your price up by a penny, and their matching strategy is going to come meet you and raise their price, and then you're going to keep raising it. And now we're talking about the reverse effect, where you're going to start actually driving the price up because you're not trying to have the lowest price FBA offer. I say established sellers can do this because they have normally a longer history on Amazon. They have a good seller rating. They have, their inventory availability is usually greater. So established sellers can price a little bit above the lowest offer and still be winning the buy box just the same. Remember, it's rotation. It's not who has the lowest price. The buy box rotates amongst the sellers. So you want to make sure that you're low enough to where you are competitive, but you don't need to be the lowest price offer. So tips of the trade. 1, be patient. One of the biggest things that we see from newer sellers is they get scared very quickly. You just bought, a handful of items, you've invested this money, you sent it into Amazon, and now you're just waiting to see if it sells. And then what you start seeing is that the price is starting to drop down a little bit, and you start to panic. You think, oh no, I'm going to miss my opportunity. I need to start being more competitive. I'm going to start having the lowest price. And then all you're doing is you're just shooting yourself in the foot because you panicked and didn't wait. Being patient is probably the best advice I could give you, because what we normally see is, say we have an item that is $20 and the price is starting to tank down and the offers are starting to rise up. At a certain point, those people, as they drop the price down, more people end up buying that product because now it's at a cheaper price. They sell out of their inventory and that price is going to rise back up. So don't worry if you have inventory that is where your competition is actually priced below you and you're actually, they're actually below your minimum price that you have set up. Just be patient and wait. More often than not, it's going to rebound and you're going to be able to still sell it for a profitable amount. It's just the nature of the business, guys. Sometimes your inventory sits for 3 to 6 weeks before it'll ever sell, and that's okay. You don't need to focus on one or two products. What you need to do, and which is the next tip, is go wide and shallow. Spread out your investment amongst many different SKUs, so that way you're not just hoping that this one item will sell for a profitable amount. You've now diversified and have protected yourself from one or two items being, selling for a break-even price, because you're going wide. Your inventory is spread out and your investment's so spread out. Trust the process. If you talk to any experienced Amazon seller, they don't panic when prices tank. They don't panic when they start to see more competition jump on the listing. They just keep their price competitive, keep their metrics good on the customer service side, and they just trust in the fact that eventually they will win that buy box and they will be able to sell their item. Again, it's a rotation. It's not who has the lowest price, it's who's competitive, and that buy box will be shared amongst those sellers. And then lastly, just don't panic. Don't panic if you start to see the price tank. Again, I can't stress this enough that when you panic in this business, you will eventually make dumb mistakes that will just hurt you. So just keep cool, keep your calm, trust the process, go wide and shallow, and you can't lose. You got this. So let's hop over into Amazon. I'm going to show you a couple of examples or I'm just going to actually show you just our repricing strategy and what we do for 99% of the products that we have on Amazon. So we like to use Inform.co for our repricer. We find that it's the best one out there. It gives you the most data. It allows you. It's simple to use. But if you're using any other repricer, you just can set up your strategy very similar to what I'm showing you. If you're using Inform, feel free to do it exactly how I'm showing you. So our competition type is FBA. I don't worry about merchant fulfill. I just only worry about FBA. I match the price. I don't try to set my price below a certain dollar or try to beat it by a certain percentage or by a certain dollar amount or above. My focus is I just want to match the lowest price FBA offer. I will set up my minimum and maximum selling prices to protect me from any type of loss or selling it for too high of an amount. Who do we compete with, or do we compete differently with FBA versus seller fulfilled Prime? Nope, I treat them both the same. They are both Prime offers, so I just match their price. With this strategy, when it comes to competing against Amazon, we will match Amazon's price. I will say that if you are competing with Amazon, it is okay if you're priced a little bit below Amazon. That may help you win the buy box, but you do run a risk, because if you price too low, Amazon will come and match you, and they will match you all the way down till that product is not worth anything. Amazon has a bigger bank than you. You don't want to, essentially you don't want to poke the beast. You want to play nice with Amazon. So we usually will just match with Amazon's prices. I would say the only time that we don't is if we're looking at an item that is a slower seller. We may try to beat Amazon by a little bit, like a certain, maybe 3 to 5% lower than what Amazon is priced at. And that's just to hopefully that we can get our buy box and sell our product and let Amazon take over the listing. But for this strategy, we will match Amazon. How do you treat seller fulfilled Prime? Same as FBA. They are a Prime offer, and Prime, whether it's being fulfilled by the seller or from Amazon's warehouses, is still Prime, so we treat it the same. When there's no competition, we like to use our maximum price. I will say, when you're setting up your maximum price, don't be greedy. Keep it into a realistic selling price. What you don't want to have happen is you don't want to have your item jump up and now it's selling for 200% more than it historically has. You're probably not going to be selling many more of that item, and your sales ranks is going to continue to grow. So, but we do, when there's no competition, we use our max price. When the competition is below your minimum price, we use the minimum price. I'm not going to keep following them down and take a loss unnecessarily. I will usually wait about 2 to 3 months. If the item hasn't sold in 2 to 3 months, then I will start to price to where maybe I'm taking a small loss and just try to recoup most of my investment. When competition matches your minimum price, we are using the minimum price. We want to match with the lowest offer. So if they're matching my minimum price, great, we'll match with them. When you own when your own price matches your minimum price, again, we just use the minimum price. If an item is out of stock, we will use the maximum price. We enable these two things. Do not lower my price when I'm in the buy box. So if I am, if I am actually winning the buy box at that moment, I'm not going to lower my price anymore. I'm going to just leave it the same until I'm no longer owning the buy box, even if I have some competition that's lower than me. And then right here, guys, the big one, seller rating. I don't compete with Amazon sellers who have a seller rating less than 85%. The reason why is because I have a 99% lifetime track record and a great seller rating, and essentially anybody that has 85% or lower I don't look at them as competition, because Amazon's going to probably give me the buy box over somebody who has an 85% score or less, because simply put, I've already shown that I provide good customer service, I sell good products, and that I just take care of what I need to take care of, that I'm an established Amazon seller. If you're below 85, you got some issues that you need to work on. Guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope that you found this video was helpful. If you did, hit that subscribe button where you can get more training from OACheddar.com. If you want to know more about who we are and what we provide with our online arbitrage lead list, check us out at OACheddar.com. Come join our free Facebook group where you can be part of a community with other Amazon sellers and ask questions and get some help from them and some feedback. Links are going to be in the description below. Other than that, y'all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next one.